Welcome back to D-Max Med Gaming. I'm your host D-Mac, and here we believe gaming is a lifestyle, not a hobby. Welcome back, guys, and today I want to talk about BioWare. And the reason why we're talking about BioWare is because BioWare has been in the news lately. A lot of people have been talking about BioWare and how BioWare's work environment is very toxic and chaotic. Now, the person that kind of exposed BioWare's toxic work environment is a journalist named Jason Schreier. We all know Jason Schreier is a great journalist, a lot of journalistic integrity. He's a very cool guy. He gets to the facts. He don't let his bias opinions jeopardize his work. He's a great journalist, and I gotta respect him for that. Just trying to did an article about BioWare's work environment, along with a couple other articles I came across over the couple of days I've been researching this. I'll leave all the links to the articles in the description box below for you guys to check out for yourselves. I recommend checking out the articles because they're interesting and tell you what was happening at BioWare, give you a real deep perspective of what these BioWare team workers had to experience and deal with working at BioWare and in the development cycle of Anthem. And from the article, it states that this has been going on longer than the Anthem's development cycle. It was happening when Dragon Age was in development, and also when Dragon Age Inquisition was in development. And it's just insane that this has been going on for so long, and BioWare hasn't addressed it. But thanks to Jason Schreier, I think things are going to start changing. So let's just jump right into it. So one of the key things that Jason Schreier talked about in this article was that the reason why BioWare work environment was so toxic because the team leaders, the managers, and team director leaders was not communicating with their staff, with the other developers, were not making decisions on what they should work on, what they should focus their efforts on, how to create a, a functioning well AAA experience like they used to do in the past. I mean, BioWare has not created a good AAA experience since Dragon Age Inquisition. And to come to find out from Jason Schreier's article, sorry, butcher your name, bro. Dragon Age Inquisition was lucky to be as good as it was because the same type of toxicity and chaos was happening at BioWare when that was in development. Now, from what Jason Schreier article states is that we all know Anthem was in development for almost 7 years. But what we didn't know is that for 6 years and 2 months, it was still in pre-production. Now, for those who are not familiar with that, there are 3 stages of production. You have pre-production, production, and post-production. Post-production is when they polishing everything up before they're about to release it. Come to find out that Anthem was in pre-production for 6 years and 2 months, and only really started to go into post-production around 18 months before release date. That's horrible to hear. Can you imagine that? You have 3 stages of production. You have pre-production, production, and post-production. So pre-production is you get all your ideas out, you get the concept art out, you get the ideas of the characters and how the story want to go and what kind of worlds you want to design. And then production is when you start building up on it, making that real, using the engine that you're working on, that you're using to make your game on. That's when pre-production happens, when you start doing all those things. And then post-production is when you polish everything out, make sure everything's flowing right, everything is tight and looks good and plays well and it's a lot of fun. So, I mean, to find out that Anthem was in pre-production, this beginning stages for almost 6 years and 2 months is mind blowing. And I was like, wow, I can't believe this. And not only that, from Jason Schreier interview with these 19 BioWare employees, that for about 3 or 4 years, they didn't know what they were even doing. It wasn't until I think 2017 E3 came around when someone showed a demo at E3 that a lot of other developers that are working on Anthem actually saw what the vision was. That's just insane. And on top of that, just try also covered that in pre-production in the first couple years of them trying to make an idea of what their game was going to be like. The name of the game wasn't supposed to be Anthem. It was supposed to be Beyond, and it's supposed to be an open world survivor game. Now, when they was talking about open world survival, it was going to be different than a lot of open world survival games because they were going to have live events happening where they can hit a switch and you have some type of major event happening, like a stampede of monsters or thunderstorms or earthquakes or things like that. And I think that's a cool concept they could have had in the game. But because of the engine they was using, the Frostbite engine, which BioWare had always had a hard time using to produce AAA experiences. Look at Mass Effect Andromeda. They used the Frost engine on that, and it was terrible. BioWare does not know how to use the Frost engine because the Frost engine was designed for first-person shooters. And on top of that, even though EA has a support company that helps developers with the Frostbite engine that that don't know how to use it. It was tied up in other development like Battlefield and FIFA 18. They're money makers. So EA wasn't helping BioWare at all neither. And then on top of that, you had managers changing left to right. Every time they got used to a manager or a director leader, they had to go away for a while, and they brought in somebody else that did share the same vision as the team that was working on Anthem since the beginning. It was just a really big mess, and it was like, wow, I can't believe this. In my opinion, I feel like BioWare's business model needs to be revamped. It needs to be rethought about and re-implemented in a more efficient, productive way. Because this can't keep going on. And I'm a huge fan of BioWare. And to hear this is just ridiculous. It's like, wow, BioWare, are you serious? No, on top of that, some of the employees of BioWare that just tried to talk to said that the environment was so toxic and chaotic that some people will go into separate rooms and cry. People were angry, depressed, anxiety happened, so having high anxiety attacks. It was that bad, and it's been going on since Dragon Age Inquisition. And BioWare's motto is, "Don't worry about how fate BioWare Magic is going to come through the end." So when the 18 months was coming up for the game's release, BioWare Magic didn't live up to the hype. Nor did it live up to the hype with Mass Effect Andromeda. And it's just ridiculous on how BioWare has been conducting itself for the last couple of years. It's mind blowing to me, and to come to find out from just a short article that a lot of development companies have the same type of business model, same type of process, and it's scary. My heart goes out to developers that are making these AAA experiences. It's like I thought indie developers had it harder than AAA developers because they have more resources available to them. They have someone backing them, but that's not the case, and it's ridiculous on how terrible this work environment is, and the reason why Mass Effect Andromeda failed, and the reason why Anthem has failed, and to pivot from a open world survivor to a looter shooter towards 18 months before release is astounding to me. It's like, wow, really? But then that's not the even more craziest part about the whole situation. Casey Hudson, who was from the beginning when the Anthem went into development, was the directive leader, but he took some time off for a couple years away from BioWare, which he had to get a new director. And because of this new director didn't share the same vision as the team that Casey Hudson was working with, things started getting chaotic. They would have board meetings, and people would be talking about ideas on how to fix bugs, new type of features they wanted to implement. Because of the Frostbite engine being so difficult to use, it was impossible for them to make that first idea of what they wanted this game to be to come to fruition. And it's just like, oh my God, this is insane. And I'm just reading this. That's why I say I recommend reading these articles because they give you such an in-depth look at what these developers had to deal with. My heart goes out to you guys. I'm a gamer and I love what you guys do. You make my life so much better, so much more tolerable, and you guys have my utmost support. But what you have to deal with, far as a work environment, is ridiculous. And that's not how you conduct business in a company like this. That's not how you manage a team. You need to understand the duties that you have to share with your team. You have to make sure each person that's doing these tasks have the abilities to complete the tasks. And you got to make decisions. You got to make tough decisions on where you want this game to go, what you want this game to be like, what the gameplay mechanics is going to be like, what the environment is going to be like, where are people going to upgrade and things like that. These are big choices that these leaders and managers had to do when they was working on Anthem. And to come to find out that it was in pre-production for almost 6 years and 2 months. Do you understand how bad that is? That's extremely bad. Like I said before, there's 3 stages: pre-production, production, and post-production. Oh my God. It's like, wow. And I think Jason Schreier did a great job in exposing BioWare for who they are. Because Casey Hudson, after this article came out, stated that yes, he acknowledged that this is a real problem within the BioWare work environment. This happens in the BioWare work environment all the time. And the workforce is really being taken advantage of and being mistreated and things like this. And it's like, wow, to come to find out how these big companies like BioWare are mistreating their workers. It got so bad that some of the workers that was interviewed by Jason Schreier said that they had to get medical leave from BioWare to recope, to re-energize, to get away from the chaotic environment, to keep their sanity. They had to go to a physician, to ask a physician to write up something for them, to take to BioWare to say, look, this guy needs 2 to 3 months off, because if he doesn't, his health is going to fail, and things like that. We always been hearing in the game industry how crunch time is difficult for developers. They have to work long hours and stay overtime, and they don't always get paid for it, and things like that, to make sure everything is ready and up to go for the launch date. But to find out that they had to deal with this through the whole development cycle of Anthem is ridiculous. And on top of that, it wasn't a vision they envisioned at the beginning of the development cycle for this game. It's like, wow, BioWare, how can you be so inconsiderate of your workers and not listening to their ideas and things like that, and trying to work it all together? I mean, you take everyone's idea and put it into a game, but the best ideas they could have put it into the game. And these features that they had from the beginning of the development cycle were cool features that would have been cool in the game. But because of the Frostbite engine, I don't know why BioWare EA didn't say, look, the Frostbite engine is not designed for online games like this, so let's get a third party engine in to allow y'all to build a game y'all want to build. I mean, that's nothing for BioWare. EA has all this money from FIFA and Madden and 2K and all these other microtransaction heavy games. They could have spent a little extra money to give the tools that these developers needed to make this new IP a reality. Mass Effect Andromeda always failed. One of their biggest IPs failed because of their lack of communication with their team and the lack of understanding on how to manage workers. It's like, wow, BioWare. But that's all I have to say about this. It's just, it hurts me to the heart, because BioWare has always been a development company that I love, because they make some of the best RPGs, element games you can play. And now to come to find out that they've been mistreating workers since Dragon Age Inquisition. And the only reason why Dragon Age Inquisition worked out is because the people that were working on it was able to communicate to a point where they was able to publish a decent game. And they thought that that can work for the next two IPs that they worked on for the next couple of years. And it didn't pan out. BioWare Magic, that's funny. That's going to be a meme. I tell you, in the next couple of weeks, that's going to be a big meme. So that's all I have to say about this topic. I'm just appalled and upset and frustrated at how BioWare have been treating their workers. And I want to know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Are you upset as well? Do you even care? Are you just do with BioWare after Mass Effect Andromeda? Or are you still holding on to Fate until Dragon Age 4 come out? Let me know all your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for sending in the video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, helps out the channel. Make sure you share, that also helps out as well. If you want to see more content from your boy D-Mac, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell to be notified when I upload more content. As always, stay safe, keep gaming. I'm out.